I never thought my life would turn into one of those stories people whisper about. The kind meant for reckless souls who don't know what to guard, but I wasn't reckless. I was careful. Too careful. And maybe that was the problem from the beginning. Back then, it was always the three of us. Me, Clara, and Michael. Two girls so close we felt like versions of the same shadow. And one boy who stepped into our world the way a window opens in a smoke-filled room. Quiet. Accidental. And suddenly everything felt different. We didn't notice the shift at first. Maybe we didn't want to. Clara liked him first. Or better said, she said it first. She said it with the confidence she always carried. So naturally, as if nothing painful could ever come from honesty. And the moment her words landed, something inside me locked itself shut. Small, sharp, glowing like a coal trapped under ice. I didn't tell her I felt the same, not because I was noble, but because that's how our friendship worked. She spoke first. I stayed quiet, so nothing between us would break. So I swallowed it. The feeling, the wanting, the ache, until it settled somewhere deep where no one could ever see it. For a while, pretending was easy. I even smiled when she rushed to my place after their first date, her voice fluttering like leaves in a storm, her eyes shining with that childish certainty that only Clara had. I told myself being her confidant was enough, that loving someone silently was safer than risking the only friendship that ever felt like home. But something changed. Slowly, quietly, invisibly. Maybe it was the night she burst through my door in her yellow raincoat, drenched and laughing. She told me Michael had kissed her under a flickering street lamp. Her joy filled the whole room. I nodded along. But something inside me bent and never quite straightened again. Or maybe the shift happened on the day she said, "I think he might be the one." And the look in her eyes, bright, trusting, painfully sure, split something inside me that never healed. Jealousy never announces itself. It grows roots in places we forget to defend. Still, life went on, or looked like it did. Until the night she came to me crying. Her hands are trembling. Her voice cracked as she tried to laugh it off. "Michael wants to take things slow," she said. "I feel like I messed something up." I held her, my arms around a girl who trusted me more than she should have. I told her he loved her, that everything would be fine, that she was perfect the way she was. I don't know why I lied, but I did. And something inside me shifted, like a hallway door opening on its own. A week later, Clara disappeared. People searched the riverbanks, the woods outside town, the abandoned factories south of the station. Police questioned everyone, especially Michael. Rumors spread like smoke in narrow alleys. Maybe she ran away. Maybe she broke under pressure. Maybe she wanted a way out. And I stayed by his side through all of it. The quiet friend, the listener, the steady hands that brought him coffee and comfort. Months passed. Grief softened. Life healed around the edges. And slowly, so slowly it felt accidental, Michael and I drifted closer. Not planned, not schemed, just two people leaning on each other. Until leaning felt natural. When he finally kissed me, it was soft. Almost apologetic, as if he still owed something to a ghost. I told myself this was fate, that the world had rearranged things in the only way that made sense, that love had finally found its shape. But love built on silence grows heavy. And eventually, it collapses. That evening we sat by his window, rain tapping gently against the glass, a rhythm that used to calm me, but now pulled at something I didn't want to face. He looked outside and said quietly, "Some nights, I still dream about her. There's a part of me she still holds." That was it. The moment something inside me cracked open. Everything started to shift that night. A heaviness rolled in, like clouds gathering before a storm you don't see coming, except me. In that moment, standing there with the weight of his words still hanging in the room, I made a decision. I knew I couldn't keep it buried any longer, so I told him. I told him everything, the whole truth I'd carried alone for so long, and the memory I had tried my entire life to erase. Clara didn't disappear. She didn't fall. She didn't run. Nothing took her from the world. I remember the whole thing with a clarity I wish I could erase. The argument behind the old freight warehouse, the cold concrete, the gathering storm. She was scared. Her voice shook when she asked if I still cared about Michael, if I loved him. She saw the answer in my eyes before I spoke. I remember the shouting, the tears, the desperate hands gripping mine. I remember the shove, her slip on wet ground, the hollow final sound when her head hit the concrete, and the silence that followed, a silence even the rain couldn't fill. I stood frozen as water washed blood into the cracks. I walked home soaked to the skin and stared at myself in the mirror, feeling nothing, not even shock. But guilt waits. It waits in shadows, in quiet rooms, in the sound of rain on glass. And that night, listening to Michael speak like a ghost drifting through the room, I knew I couldn't carry it anymore. I told him everything. Every truth I had buried, every lie I had built my life on, every piece of the girl I used to be. He didn't move, didn't blink, just stared, as if seeing me for the first time, or maybe realizing he never had. I walked myself to the police station, hands steady, heart strangely calm, as if the confession had been waiting all along. And now, looking back at everything, I understand something I never allowed myself to admit. I didn't lose Clara because she loved Michael. I lost her because I loved him more than I loved her. That's the part I never said, the part that costs everything. And now, it's the only truth I have left.